I'm back. We're getting ready to make the garlic cheddar biscuits, but before I do, my biscuit and cinnamon butter, honey butter recipe that I did for the last post, I did two things, and I was going to do a contest where I said, who could see what I did? Two things. Instead of sifter, I said filter. Don't know why. That's one of those things. We do one take, so I've always said whatever's in it, and that's what you're going to get. It's very raw here. And the other thing was when I was leveling my flour, I leveled it off into my bowl. So that proves we are not perfect cooks, and we don't expect you to be perfect cooks. It's just, these recipes are good. Your family will love them. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to flop and go, oh, well, we're going to try it anyway. Because I tried it anyway, and the biscuits were really good. So it turned out okay, but I got tickled watching the video later. So, yeah, two things there. So I thought those were kind of funny. This recipe is, well, a lot of my kids, nephews and nieces and them love it and everything, but Harrison, my nephew, loves these things. And he wanted them, if he came over here, I made them not every week, but probably at least 2 times a month for him when he was working here. So he just loves these things. So we're going to make these. They are like biscuits that you get at a seafood restaurant. I'll just put it that way. So these are homemade, and so you just know all the ingredients and what you're getting. So this is really good and very simple again. So I'm going to put 2 cups of flour. This time I'm going to level it off in my flour bowl. There we go. All right. I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Again, with baking powder, I don't worry about leveling it off. I'm just like, if they're the bigger, the better. So it doesn't bother me too much. I have to put in a tablespoon of garlic powder. Now, actually, I'm not going to put that much in. I have that on my recipe. It gets to be a little bit much. It can be, if you like strong garlic, by all means put it in. I'm going to put about 1/2 tablespoon in. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of sugar and 3/4 of a teaspoon, so almost a whole full teaspoon of salt. I'm going to whisk that up. Always mix your dry ingredients. Make sure that everything gets incorporated. All right. Now I'm going to add in 1 cup of, use whole milk. When you're baking, you don't have to eat these every day of the week. So if you're worried about that, but if you're going to make these for special occasions and stuff, use the whole milk. You get so much more flavor in that. So I'm going to add that. I'm also, let me get my fork out here. I can find a big fork. I guess I can. So here we go. I'm just going to add, I'm going to get this just incorporated just a little bit, kind of to get it going here just a bit. Now I'm going to add in a stick of melted butter, and I used unsalted butter. That way I can control what the salt tastes like. So unsalted butter. You can use the other and just cut back then on when you add the salt. And once I get that kind of started to get it going, now I add in a cup of shredded cheese. And I shredded this myself. It really truly is better than the stuff you get with this pre-shredded because it doesn't have that powdery substance on it. But you can by all means use the other. And I use sharp cheddar because you want a lot of flavor in this. And now I just kind of mix it up. With it being rainy today, I'm probably going to have to add a little more. Everything's a little bit wetter. I'm going to add a little bit more flour. It all depends on the day. So always follow your recipe, but if you need to add a little more, you just do. And I'll just kind of fold that in. This recipe, though, is very light. I mean, really light. You're going to think, oh, I need to add more. No, these are spoon biscuits, so you are not having to cut them out. It's okay if they're, that's what makes them really light and fluffy. So this should be good. I don't know if you can see that very good. It's pretty wet, but that is what we want. So I'm going to put these on a cookie sheet with parchment paper. Parchment paper is like the best thing ever. So I'm so glad whoever invented that. And I'm going to take pretty big scoops. This will make, the size that I make anyway, this will make 8 or 9 biscuits. So I'm going to finish putting all these on here. And I'm going to bake these at 450 degrees for 11, 12 minutes. Or we'll just see. It just depends on your oven. And I will get these out. And then we're going to put a topping on it of butter and parsley and some salt. And that's what we add to it when we're done. So we'll get back to you in just a little bit. Okay, we're coming back. The biscuits have been cooked. And what I'm going to do is I took a 1/4 of a cup of butter, melted it, added a 1/2 teaspoon of parsley and a little bit of salt, like maybe a 1/4 of a teaspoon, not a whole lot. And now you have to baste each biscuit. Now I make these huge, like big biscuits. You could by all means make do half this size and then you'd end up with more like 16 biscuits. I just like to do the big ones. I think they're kind of impressive, and especially with the boys, they kind of want to, they like to have them like this size. So we will show you what they look like. So yeah, they're all glistening up. They look really pretty. I'm gonna put one up to the camera. I don't know if this will work, but we're gonna try it. A little bit hot, but. Can you see it, Kay?
Yep, looks good.
They are so good. And I already had one ready over here for Kaylee and I to try. I'm gonna put a little more butter on the top of it. There you go, KK. What do you think?
We are so stinking good.
We're eating with our mouths full. If Piper were here, she would correct us. You can have these all the time. So you don't have to go to a restaurant to get these. You can make them yourself. Tweak them. If you don't like as much garlic, put a lot less garlic in it. If you like a lot of garlic, put more in it. You can make it, don't be afraid to try things in your recipes. I guarantee you someone's still going to eat it. Even if it's like not quite what you think it will be. You got to play with it. That's what I did with this recipe. I just keep messing with it and I'm like, I want less garlic or whatever. But it's so good. I hope you try it. And again, please share your pictures if you do. Just like one on a plate and let us know how they turned out and what you thought of them. We will hopefully be putting one on a video on just through the season. Hopefully once a week. Can't promise that because we're busy people, but like everyone else. Busy people, but especially getting the store ready, which will be open October 19th. That's our first day at Turkey Knob Farm, so we hope to see you there, and I hope to see you back here next week.